Doris. Good morning. Welcome, everyone. The Justice League, like the church now, is reorganizing. And we have some great ideas that we want to present to you and discuss today. We do have a tight agenda. We have several speakers, and we want to leave time for questions and discussion. So have been assigned as timekeeper, and I brought my kitchen timer, which rings out loud. So I will be stopping you at the appropriate time. So thank you all for coming, and let's get going.
Good morning, everybody. I have a happy job today to remind us all about some of the many ways that UCG has in the past served our community. So I'm just going to read through this list. If while I'm reading you think of something that we haven't covered, let me know at the end and we can add it. So First Sunday Food First, Food for Kids, the Backpack Program, PFLAGs, Black Lives Matter, the Climate Change Summit, Climate Creation Justice Church, Acorn Clinic, the Community Weatherization Coalition, the Peer Respite Center, the one I'm real familiar with, Family Promise, Action Network, Peacemakers Group. I hadn't heard of that. It says 1989. Mommy Reads, the Interfaith Clergy Coalition, which was against the Quran burning, Interfaith AIDS Coalition, the Rawlings Christmas Fair, Fifth Avenue Enrichment, Rebuilding Together, Work Tours, Interfaith Habitat House, Sanctuary, Lobby Days in Tallahassee for the LGBTQI+ community, partnership with ACCRP and the NAACP, and the Summit on Racial Disparities, which was in March 2016. So I'm going to ask first, have any of you guys participated in any of these? Raise your hand. Everybody? Are there any that we've left out? Okay.
And $178 to start the home ban in 2002.
Yeah.
We had a project for several Christmases in a row where we provided a Christmas party for children at Bell Nursery just across the road. When they first started the memorial walk on 8th Avenue, that's for Peace Net here. For a long time, they did all the first paired footprints that they used before they got fancy with all of that. We did it all in some bead. Gift bags for people with AIDS, and also bags for the homeless. Gift bag.
I'm just going to add here that we served Grace Marketplace meals for several years.
And then we did dinners at St. Francis.
You can go up here.
Bus to Montgomery.
Right, that's one.
And working with the Rural Women's Health Project to collect food for families whose primary breadwinner is in ICE custody, and also supporting that organization's ID drive to reduce the stigma around not having drugs. The fasting for Good Brothers.
I will try Oxfam. Oh, that's right.
LGBTQ movie.
You have band on there?
Market, I think we did have to do that. Yeah, yeah.
Christmas gift for the Guardian Ad Litem.
That's all right.
Mary, did you say that Christmas events for the friendship group? The friendship group, the Christmas bags for the friendship group? And the theater.
Wow. That's Oxfam. Yeah, yeah.
And we have a little grant program where you can say if somebody's in need.
That's a needless. Right, right.
We partnered with ACCRP.
And we've got the ACCRP in that. Great work.
You were ahead of time.
Maybe.
So clearly, we're a very active church. We've done a lot in the community, and we're known in the community for our work. And we're going to keep doing that. So we had a meeting about the Justice League. Right now, the Justice League is 3 committees: open and affirming, LGBTQ, creation care and climate justice, and racial justice. And we have had a process that was described as barnacle covered by someone in this room. Barnacle encrusted. Yes, barnacle encrusted, where we have monthly meetings and kind of decide to do the same thing that we've always done and then do it. And then every now and then we do something new. So we've decided to have a new process. We're going to do more like ONA does and like Kairos, where there are no monthly meetings. But there will be frequent opportunities for everyone in the community, everyone in the congregation, not just someone who signs up, to be part of, for example, Pride is coming up. So we're going to have a small group for people to plan the Pride service, the brunch, and the tabling. And if nobody shows up, we won't have them. So show up. And we're going to have other, the ongoing things we'll keep doing. Certain people have already volunteered to do the band book week. And if you want to be part of that, you certainly can. But watch the emails and the newsletters. There will be lots of opportunities to do some of the ongoing things that we've done. And in addition, we want to do something really big as a congregation to respond to the current crisis right now. So, well, we're doing good. I'm not even using my whole 3 minutes. So now I'm going to have Heather introduce our next speaker.
It actually was me who said the phrase barnacle encrusted, but I wasn't talking just about the Justice League. If it makes you feel better, I was talking about all of UCG's committee process, Bernicle included. So now that I've lost your support for what I'm about to say, it's been my pleasure in the last month to get to know Adriana Menendez, who's the Assistant Director of the Rural Women's Health Program and of an organization called GINI, Gainesville Immigrant Neighbors Initiative. Both of these organizations have a long history with UCG. The director, Veronica Robledo, has spoken at one of our Sunday services, and we have supported the ID drive, and there are people in this room who are bringing food to feed the families of those whose main breadwinners have been kidnapped by ICE and either deported or held in custody. So we're already supporting this group. This very small staff has been by default placed in the position of being a clearinghouse for many tragic stories and families in terrible dilemmas, which most of us know nothing about. And they are working very hard. They have a long list of hundreds of people in need of their help and many, many needs, which some of which we can help them with. And Adriana's going to tell you about that.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. I am Adriana Menendez. Thank you so much to Heather. Since we met her a couple of weeks ago, she has been amazing, really supporting the work that we're doing and connecting us with other groups that we hope it can help. We are very grateful to all of you because every week we have been receiving 1 or 2 bags of food, mainly 2 bags of food for the families who are currently experiencing family separation. As everybody knows, we're going through a very difficult situation, specifically for the immigrant brown community. The Rural Women's Health Project has been working for the last 34 years. We cover other counties aside of Alachua County, so counties that are very, very rural and where honestly the level of discrimination is pretty high. And when I say this, I mean not just by the regular population, but by the sheriff and the local police. What we have seen is that most of the cases, or probably all the cases that we are receiving through our helpline from families calling us, asking us for help because their husband, their brother, their son sometimes has been arrested, is not because this person have a criminal record. It's just because it's a brown person driving. So there's a lot of profiling. So it's a brown person driving. They check the license plate, the police or sheriff, whoever is going after them, they check the license plate and they are able to see that the license plate is not attached to a driver's license. So in that moment, they know I can stop this person, I'm going to ask for a driver's license, and they are not going to have one, so I can arrest the person. But the honest truth is that everybody needs to go out, especially to go to work, to take their kids to school, to go to the supermarket, medical appointments, etc., etc. So all these families that we are receiving the cases is incredible, but most of the families are moms-to-be, just like me, pregnant, or are moms that just had a newborn. We have cases of like 2 weeks newborns. We have cases of 3-month-old babies. And so the main breadwinner is being arrested, is detained. We have, by now, we have 2 different kind of cases. People who are still detained in immigration and people who are already being deported, right? So we are supporting these families, trying to support them with food, with diapers, if it is possible for us, also with rent, maybe not all of it, but just like be able to help a little. Another thing that we are asking people to help with is when they need to go to a court appointment, immigration court appointment, or a check appointment with immigration, because most of these families, the honest truth is that they are mixed status. Maybe one or both of the parents don't have documents and the kids do. So, for example, if my husband is being detained or my husband is already being deported and now I am here, I am pregnant and I have two other kids, there is no way that I'm going to drive because I'm not going to put myself in danger and leave my kids alone behind. So, these mothers needs to take themselves and their children to medical appointments. So they need transportation to go to those appointments. Like I said, the immigration court appointments, that's another one. Diapers, food, or also if it is possible, just cash, right? That you can provide to us, and then we divide that in the families that are struggling the most. Other way that you can also support our program is that we have an ID, a community ID. We are trying that those IDs are not, it's not just the immigrant community to have those. We want everybody to have those IDs. So then it's way more often for the police, for the hospital, for, let's say, the Department of Children and Families. They are get used to see this identification. So then they are like, oh, okay, everybody has it. So there is no problem. We can accept this ID. Everybody has it. At the moment, I can say there is many places who we are very lucky and they are accepting the ID, but there are some other ones that are also having a little doubts if they are accepting it or not. So you can volunteer directly to participate and help the ID drive, or you can just go and get an ID for yourself. Another way that you can also support our work is just talking to friends, to family members about what is happening currently. And if there is any way they want to help, the different ways that I mentioned, or if they would like to get an ID, that's another one. If anybody has a little of time and they can, drive somebody to a medical appointment, that will be great. I'm going to leave some of my business cards so you have the phone number of the Rural Women's Health Project. It has my email and everything. So any of you can write to us if you would like to volunteer in any of these ways. I really appreciate all the support that you're doing. Yes.
At the June meeting, you talked about some larger projects that you would like to take on.
Oh, yes.
Have partners in the community that are willing to participate with you.
Correct.
We're looking for projects that and think about some of those.
Absolutely. A big project that we have in mind is that the immigrant community has always been very scared of going to shelters during hurricane season, which, as you know, we are already in hurricane season. And if previous years the community has been very scared to go to, this year they are definitely not going. They don't participate after hurricanes when there are big events where there is maybe showers, maybe there is food available. But because these are events where there is a lot of people going to it, law enforcement has to be at the place. So the immigrant community is very scared to go into these places as well. So one of the things that we were thinking that maybe the church can help us is to provide shelter. The families are definitely not going to go to the public open shelters. So maybe the church can become a shelter during hurricane season. So some of our families that we know that they are in the most danger areas, they could come here and have shelter here. Yes.
I'm also talking about training programs. So if someone's going to be, can you talk about that a little bit? Like they'll train you to go with somebody to court.
Absolutely, absolutely. There is certain rules or certain information that is very important for everybody to know in case somebody wants to volunteer and go to a court appointment with somebody. So we can provide a training to you, and you can also provide that training to other people if you like, about what is the risk, what is the things that you need to know when you're taking somebody to a court or just a check-in appointment.
to the issue of shelter that may be needed, do you have an idea as to like how many families are out there that you know ahead of time? That's one question. When people have been deported, do you know if where they're being sent?
Very good questions about the shelter. Number one I'm not gonna deny it's a very big number, but what we will do is that we will select the families in the major risk. So I can tell you, let's say, I don't know, let's say 20, 30 families are the ones that in the biggest danger. So that will be number one. Number two, you said about where are they going? So recently we had a case, and that's really scaring us. We had a case of somebody, he was detained for over 3 months. He was fighting his case during that time because he was here in the United States, I think, for 15 years. He has 7-year-old daughter, and his wife is pregnant. So he was really fighting his case to be able to stay. Because it was taking so long, and they are being treated so horribly at these detention centers. No water, just one food and a very small meal per day, sharing 2 toilets with 40 other people. And also, like, he even told us that every time he was receiving food, the dish are put in the floor, and the security are just like pushing with their feet the food. So it came to a point where he was way too desperate and decided, no, I prefer to just leave. He is from Guatemala, and very weirdly, even though Guatemala is a country that is accepting their own people, he was sent to Mexico, which makes no sense. There is no reason why he was sent to Mexico. From Mexico, he needed to borrow money to take a bus from Mexico to Guatemala. In the way from Mexico to Guatemala, that bus was assaulted. Like a gang went inside the bus and was asking for 250 pesos per person. He didn't have any money. He once again needed to just ask somebody in the whole group if somebody could give him some money. Otherwise, he would have been killed at that moment. We have cases also of people where we don't know where they are. With the months since the new administration, at the beginning, it was taking between 24 to 48 hours to be able to see in what immigration center the person was detained. Now it's taking even a whole week. And in the case of this man that I'm telling you, he totally disappeared for like a week and a half. Also, people is being detained here in Florida, but a lot of them is sent to centers in different states. New Mexico, Louisiana, Texas, and I'm missing another one that is the ones that we have seen the most where people is being sent. So that makes it very tricky, because then it's so much more difficult for the family to find their family members and to find legal assistance to support their family members. If you're talking about you need to find for lawyers that are in another state, is so much more difficult. For example, us, the Rural Women's Health Project, we have contacts of lawyers who are providing pro bono service, but those lawyers only provide the service if the person is here in Florida. So there is so many obstacles for these families to be able to receive assistance, and then the whole process takes so long. The treatment is really bad inside these centers, and that's why we need your support in many ways. Yes. Any other question? Thank you. Thank you.
Jessica? Oh, by the way, the food, there hasn't been as much lately, and I'm going out of town after next Sunday. So if we want to keep donating food, I need someone to be in charge of it. You can come and talk to me.
I'm not Terrence Ho, but Terrence Ho is one of the people who is in the organization, Gainesville Immigrant Neighbors Initiative, Ginny. So I thought that was, I'm sorry, no?
Greater Gatesville.
Oh, I'm sorry.
International.
Greater Gainesville International Center. Okay, sorry. Okay, the one that Lauren Poe had. And this very talented man has produced a series of drawings that actually show the steps that go to that an immigrant goes through to try to be a legal resident. And his show, I guess, is opening today or this week at the Matheson Museum. You don't know how long it's going to be there. Okay. But it is. So he very graciously brought us, a, let us have a uh, sample. And this shows each picture. I don't know how big it is, but it would certainly be worth going to see the show. So there's a pre-arrival and they're interviewed. Wait. uh, I'm sorry, I didn't see what the second one. Oh, and you have to make a decision. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, that's pre-arrival. They meet with officials and keep going to the next one. Then, I'm sorry, it's not making any sense. Yeah. A process is showing step by step, but I thought, right. And it's, I don't have all the steps because I didn't write the steps down. I didn't think it would be, yeah. Okay, yeah, go back to the very first. Yeah, go back. Yeah, there we go. There it is. Okay. So that's it. Planning, arrival, intake, welcome, identification, orientation, health exams, learning English, go up, benefits that are available, how you're going to get there, school, housing, employment, integration into the society, neighbors, how are the neighbors accepting or not accepting you, and your community. So these are, it doesn't take just a week or a couple of months. It takes years to go through all this process, and especially the integration part. Once they have been accepted, then they often have someone like Catholic Services or your group that is helping them to actually acclimate to the community. Somebody helps them find housing, helps them find employment. So it can be a 2 to 3 year process at least. And it's not like there are steps along the way that we can all take, whether we can't do everything, but we could be involved in one of these steps.
So as you can see, these are the two main groups that I know of helping immigrants and refugees in the U.S. I mean, in Gainesville. And Jeannie, which Adriana spoke of, serves 6 counties, and then the GG, Greater Gainesville International Committee or Community Center. They serve only Alachua County, and it's smaller group, and it's people who are seeking asylum. So they do very intensive and very helpful care, and they serve a smaller group of people. So hopefully we can be of assistance to both groups. We're going to have Q&A after. No. Oh, they did say there's no more asylum, but maybe people that are already here. I don't know. That's a good question for them. Yeah. All right. So next is Helen.
So I've been asked to talk about one of the programs that's going on across the county. In the last year and a half, the county has organized for emergency response community organizations active in disaster. And they've reached out to congregations across the county with an interest in having places in the rural parts of the county as well as in the urban area. And it overlaps with what we've had going on here since COVID, where we've had a phone tree to reach out to members of the congregation. And just like when you get on a plane and the stewardess says, take care of yourself first and then your children, we have worked with the approach that we take care of ourselves, our congregational members, if somebody has a need for assistance or transportation, but some kind of a need, especially during a time and following a natural disaster. So on a larger scale, the county is working on that. And relating to the topic here, the issue of shelter has come up as what could we do here as a church and what can we do in the community for sheltering those who, as we're hearing today, there's a large population of immigrants and individuals who don't feel safe going to the public shelters that are provided by the government. And as the co-ed meeting with the county has discussed this topic, they've identified that in the past, they've never asked for ID of individuals who come in. Some people come in with a Jane Doe kind of ID. They don't necessarily say their real name. And that can be problematic if that individual has a health problem in the shelter and they need to get medical help for that person. So there's a lot of issues about shelter that it's been going on here for forever, but there's this trend that's been picking up lately on how much more crucial it is to have communities prepared ahead of time. And so while we're talking about what would we do as a shelter, the discussion as Family Promise having been a place here that we shared with other interfaith hospitality networks, and at a week at a time, we would have schedules for people to be here 24 hours a day. And they were trained and they were vetted, background screening checks to make sure that there was appropriate personnel on staff, volunteers especially. So with the hurricane that came up last year, we had shut down here with Family Promise, the Interfaith Hospitality Network. But talking with Dawn and Candace, there was a consideration, what would we be able to do with that space? And we got the new bathrooms. We've got rooms that we've used before for families to be able to stay at a week at a time. And with Donna, the Reverend Dr. Donna, has opened the conversation to think about doing things differently. We've met with Adriana and some of the other individuals to talk about the possibility of doing a shelter here as a sanctuary. The fear is we don't have any protection. And I think of The Sound of Music. When the family Von Trapps were all hiding in the church, and then the Gestapo's men's all going after them. It's scary and surreal, but that's what we have going on now. Officers of the law going in after people in a place of sanctuary. So another thought that has been mentioned to just open and expand further is how many of us have a spare room in the house that we would take in somebody? I have another thought that I'm wondering, the individuals who are in housing now, I mean, here the classic thing is when we know a storm's coming in, what do we hear? If you don't feel safe where you are, seek shelter, right? So in blue sky periods, if we could think about how rebuilding together could possibly identify, if we could identify some homes that could have some work done by rebuilding together. Is RD here? I'm volunteering, URD. But to consider getting some of these houses stabilized and secure enough so people can stay home. And that's really going on a big picture. But that would also be doing something that would talk about taking care of our heirs' properties, which I've been going to a lot of meetings for that in the last year too. And that would be a whole nother topic. But here within this room, there are so many great people who offer to help. With COAD, what we look at is if somebody here had a tree fall down, who would be there to help clean it up? And the recognition is not everybody's going to want to handle that chainsaw. But what I've done is I've had some really big burly guys doing the chainsaw, and I just handled the loppers and handled the little branches and took them to their space. It's that classic thing. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. How do you take down a big tree? And how do you move it? One branch at a time. So those kind of things, it's a great way to build community when you're working together on something like that. We also had last year with a hurricane in the coastal areas, Carol Barron and Pam organized a collection of food that just blew the Rotary away because they had a truck full of stuff. And that was something that just came together spontaneously and they were able to provide a delivery. So this community is able to do great things. The key is if we can plan during the blue skies, what would be available. If like now, that means before the storm. So when there's a storm warning, the sequence of things that happens is the warnings to take shelter, shelter in place or find a safe place. Then if the storm comes, of course, the Public Works, you stay home until the streets are cleared and safe again. And then you start reaching out to your neighbors and see who's available, who needs help, who with your family member needs help. So during the blue skies, we start to identify those people who show up during the middle of the disaster. That's the hardest time to organize. So that's why blue skies is, let's find out, if you say that you would be available, maybe. It's all with a maybe. Because the day something is needed, you may not be available. But at least we know that you've expressed an interest in it, and we can reach out to you with a system of phone banking. So there is a church committee. We had a meeting about 2 months ago after the service wherein Kwanda was here, and we had about 21 people show up for that. And we need to have a follow-up committee. Many of the people had said they don't like communicating with email. So, I think what I need to do is just have another meeting where we can get together. And it doesn't need to be on a Sunday, but it's a time to just be able to hear who may be able to help with what. There could be transportation. There could be somebody who will collect food. We have on the county-wide COAD organization, individual COADs at the different churches or the Rotary, different civic groups. And we, as countywide, have gotten the financial responsibility going with the United Way so we can collect money. We've already got funds for tarps, having that ahead of time, and then knowing who can transport them to places of need. So it's again, if you've seen what's happened with the Texas floods and people showing up from hundreds of miles away, if you think you might be one of those people, we want you.
Great. Heather and Jim. So if you're interested in helping with disaster preparedness, contact Helen.
Do you want to?
So Jim is going to be our excellent MC for the Q&As. And as you ask questions, I am going to take notes on what different people are interested in, are asking questions about, might be willing to do as volunteers. So I will be coming up to you quietly, unobtrusively, and asking you to jot down your name and contact information on this list.
Thanks, Heather. Do we need people to speak into the mic for the question? Yes, we do. Okay. So, we have 2 mics. Nice. Okay. So, hi, everyone. I'm Jim, and I help with the leadership of our climate justice group, Creation Care and Climate Justice. And let me see if I can summarize what's been going on, because we actually have extra time for question and answer. It's amazing. Doris, you haven't had to set off your alarm or anything. So I think we covered a lot of information very quickly. As you saw here on this chart, we're very active, right? However, there's a sense within the Justice League with our three groups that we could be more effective, right? That there's certain needs that are really rising up that need to be addressed immediately, namely the immigration issues. But we still have, the trans issues going on. We have climate change is not going away, people. It's just that some of these things are intersecting as well. They're crossing over, with hurricanes coming our way more and more frequently, that's affecting everyone. So we want to think, how can we be more effective in this community and meeting the need of the moment? So Jackie talked a little bit about the process. Maybe we can reorganize a little bit and be more effective. And then we heard from Adriana about Ginny and the Rural Women's Health Project, which is maybe that's something we can plug into more directly. We also heard about the GGIC, the Greater Gainesville International Center, and then COAD, which is for Alachua County, organizing for disasters such as hurricanes. All right, so that was a lot of stuff we covered. Hopefully we can get to all your questions. Is there any confusion maybe about what, just to start off with, like what was said and what we covered? Need any clarification? Yes.
Heather said that if you wanted to volunteer for one of the things we thought about, do we say it now or we just grab Heather? What do we do?
Vicki has had a brilliant idea, which is that rather than cornering you one by one and asking for your contact information, I'm going to send this clipboard down the rows. And if you are interested in volunteering for work with the Rural Women's Health Project, which might involve setting up a hurricane shelter, it might involve participating in training to accompany people to immigration court dates. It might involve helping people arrange for basic legal documents that they need, like powers of attorney, in case they're taken, they have someone to take care of their children for them. Any kind of work that you feel that you might be able to do, even if you don't know what it is at the moment, just put your name and your contact information on this sheet, which I'm about to send around. And if you have another strong interest, put that on here too.
Yes, we have another.
How do we make a contribution to Adriana's group?
Adriana, how do we give you some financial support?
Thank you. In our website, which is rwhp.org, we have a link. If you want to do through PayPal, you can do a donation, or you can also contact us directly if you would like to provide it in cash. Otherwise, food, diapers is something that we are also accepting. You can drop off those at our office.
All right, so we got the website up there.
That link is in the Tuesday email where it says, please bring food, resilience for immigrants. That link is there in that email.
In today's email as well.
So Resilience for Immigrants, the RWHP link is in your email that came today. And right below that is our Immigrant Neighbors, which has a link to the Jenny.
All right, so I think we have a lot of people who want to get involved, so we have the sheet coming around. And Donna, you had a.
I wanted to mention some things that are brewing rather than things that are already happening. And the way is to get into what's already happening, absolutely. But the brews are at least on two levels. One is the local clergy association, which is meeting and mostly on Signal and doing early warning things. And also talking about meeting with law enforcement officers locally, just to say hi, we're watching, and be friendly. We know the state law is that you must cooperate with ICE, but you don't have to overdo yourself. And so developing relationships there. Also, I think there's nothing wrong with meeting with the city council about our concerns. And that we do this ecumenically, I think would be terribly important. And also the Florida Conference is setting up some meetings. So as those meetings happen, and if you have an advocacy bone in your body, these are good places to come to, where we will be extremely polite, nonviolent, kind, and firm in those discussions. And just Heather said, tell about what we did in New York. We met with the head of ICE in New York City almost weekly and would tell them exactly what we were planning to do, how many people we were accompanying. And we also took our Congress people. Now I know Florida is completely different, but we took them. And whenever our accompaniment people would not be allowed to get in, get a congresswoman, and she would get us in. So we had a lot of electeds with us at all times. And I think in any of these activities, that is important to do. So if any of you would like to introduce me as your representative in these places, these clergy places, to somebody to, one of you is taking me to meet the head of the Santa Fe University College security chief. So we can just begin that process. If you know anybody, it's not going to be easy to get these appointments. We'll be scheduled for 2028. We know that. But the point is, if we know somebody, we're going to be doing those things. So any advocacy ideas that you have, I will carry to these two groups also.
Thank you, Don. I also wanted to interject a question of my own, which is, who are the people here leading these committees? So I'm the one helping with the climate justice, but can we hear from O&A and racial justice, just so everybody knows who the point people are, in case you just want to go directly to a person? So maybe start, Brandon, could you stand up?
Brandon, I am leading the Open and Affirming Committee right now. Did you give me up? Just anything related to that.
And racial justice.
Okay, for the people on Zoom, I'm Brandon Telg. I am co-leading the Open and Affirming Committee currently in its current form. So if you have any O&A related questions, concerns, or want to plug in with what we're doing, hit me up. And
and Mary Fukuyama, we co-lead together.
And then for racial justice?
I'm Doris Harvey, and I have been leading racial justice. And any questions you have, you're welcome to speak with me. Thank you.
We had a question over here, Vicky, I think.
Thank you. I was wondering if either Donna or Adriana or someone else has an update about, does anybody have an update on actions around Camp Landing or an update about that situation?
Camp Landing.
There were a number of us who were at the rally yesterday, including Donna. So the governor has said that he's not in a big hurry to build Camp Landing. He wants to fill up the camp that I will not call by its well-known name first. However, at the same time that he said he was in no hurry to build it, he completed a request for proposals for it, which is the first step to actually building it. So that's a little bit of a discordant message there. You can believe whichever part of that message you choose to believe. There were about 700 people at the protest opposite Camp Landing yesterday. It was extremely well organized. It was extremely hot, and everyone stayed. There was a medical tent. No one got sick. It was completely peaceful. A couple of Trump supporters showed up, and the chant was,
don't engage, just ignore, and they got bored and left. There will be another demonstration. I believe the plan is to hold them monthly, and anybody who'd like to participate in those or help organize them, I would be happy to connect you with the right people.
I got a suggestion because Adrienne is here right now. I'm going to pass the hat or this basket just to collect cash or checks or however, if you want to give money right now, you can do it right now. Okay. So I'm going to pass it around. Okay. This is for the Rural Women's Health Project that I'll give directly to Adriana. Okay. Yes. Question.
You said that there's 3 committees that have been under one umbrella, but you're not going to meet anymore. But we had all these ideas being thrown out. How is that going to come together in terms of accessing the ideas or the point person? How is it going to be organized now?
Good question. I think Doris is going to address that. And we are going to continue meeting among the organizers and leaders. But there may not be quite as many meetings with others. So, Doris? Can we ask a question first? Yeah.
We were going to just meet quarterly, and we will be commuting mostly, but we'll meet in person quarterly and discuss our next project and how to organize. And it will be just the group of leadership that meets. And then we will communicate. And then we will communicate via emails and get response through emails.
If you have a question, please wait for the mic. We have a question over here. And then Jackie, did you want to make a statement also?
Just in terms of how it's going to work, like if you would like to lead a book group, you could either call us or you could call Dar or Shauna. We're going to hire a new communications director at some point, and that person will know all the book groups aren't on the same night. They'll know the date. So if you were like, oh, this book is really great, church should read this, it's about the immigrant issue, you can lead a book group. You don't even have to talk to us. But if you hear of something like, oh, this is a really great thing happening, call us and we'll help and we'll all do it together. But we'll just, we're not going to have monthly meetings because people don't like them.
Okay.
Your question after that.
Yeah, David Evans. We have COAD, which is a little independent from the UCG phone tree emergency group, little separation there. So if you want to look at ways to help UCG congregation, please come see me if you would like to serve on a phone list or a emergency care, following a hurricane, let's say. So if it's a COAD number, please see Helen. And my question to Helen is, I'm going to hand you the mic. How do we let you know what we can do for COAD? Do you have forms to fill out? Are you to that point?
Yeah, within COAD, there is a capability assessment list, which you could identify the various things that you're available for. Either as a shelter or a staging center, the church might be able to be a site for distribution of food, water, and supplies. It could be a site for the workers, emergency workers, to be able to come and get out of the heat and have a respite. One of the things that we would need to be able to do some of those things is that we would need a generator, maybe a couple of generators. So there's those kind of things that would talk about getting that in place ahead of time. And there is some training. The Red Cross provides training for people who want to volunteer in a shelter. And there's a local effort with the Methodists that they're doing emergency disaster training on August the 23rd. It's going to be a whole day thing. It's a Saturday. If you'd like more information on that, but they'll be doing training on, how to clean out a house, how to remove a tree, emotional support. How do you deal with having a conversation with somebody who's lost their house or lost a family member. So there's a lot of those kind of things that are available with the COAD training. And it's not just me. There's all these groups that come in together to help.
Okay, question here. We have time for maybe 2 more questions.
Question, which is how a larger group meets and has it happen, what's the work?
Yeah. I have a kind of a poignant question to ask Adriana. And that is, has Adriana felt like she has been shadowed or felt that endangered in whatever, physically endangered in the last 6 months?
Thank you for your question. You are asking me?
Yes, ma'am.
I haven't encountered anything, but because we cover other counties and I have to travel to other counties, it's always a fearful situation for me. Yes. Myself, I have been very lucky to not have any of those encounters, but I do have colleagues who have experienced those.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, one more question. Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. This isn't a broad question, but Adriana mentioned the ID cards. Could someone just say something a little more specific about that? I get the idea that there are people who need them and that other people, the general population, should also get them to. Next Wednesday at. They will have an ID event. You can go to Westminster Presbyterian Church at 6 o'clock and get your ID, your Human Rights Coalition ID. We had an event here, but very few people signed up for it. So the Rural Health Project now is doing these on a monthly basis. And next Wednesday, 6 to 8, there will be, you can sign up and go and get your, from 6 to 8.
And yeah, this is what they look like, right?
Yeah.
ID card.
Yes, because it's accepted by the library, the schools, and sheriff's department as an ID. So it's not a driver's license, but we've given it to many teens who only get a school ID, and that's all they have. And so it has an address and has formal information on it. And the kids that have been getting it have been very helpful, but we've helped usually 25 to 30 people a night at Westminster Presbyterian. And this has been going on for about 3 years.
If many of you are interested in getting the ID, we will be more than happy to come here and have an event here specifically for the group. Yes.
All right. I'd like to thank everyone for your attention. I think, there's so much going on. There's so many moving parts. It could be confusing and maybe we have more questions now than when you came in, but that's okay. We have energy. We have people. We have resources. We have connections. Okay. And we're trying to build those connections now and into the future.
Speaking of
Yeah.
connections, is there anyone who wanted to sign up or donate who did not get this handed to them? Online.
I want to
Okay,
thank
get with that.
Adriana for being here and yeah. And to everyone who spoke today, thank you for all your attention. Let's keep talking. Have a good day.